guys to the More Podcast with JB Stewart. First podcast, guys. I'm so excited about this. This is what I've been wanting to do my whole life. It's crazy to think that I firmly believe that. Now, you guys could use this as proof. I remember saying when I was 20 years old, having a conversation with my mom. This is why I told my mom, I said, Mom, there'll be a day when people pay me thousands of dollars just to come talk to them. Just to come talk to them. And I believe that. But what's interesting about that was I don't understand why that confidence didn't translate into me doing a podcast or creating these videos a lot sooner. Especially after people over the years encouraging me to take the path that I'm on now. That amazes me. It's like, how do you know that you're so called to something? The weight of responsibility is on you. The fire is inside of you pushing you to do it. And you still remain stagnant. And I try to take this experience a bit further for myself because I see that as a common trend amongst a lot of people that I meet and a lot of conversations that I have. I'm talking about a lot of conversations I have. We get down to the bottom of what people really want to do. And the thing that's most suited for them, they do not even try. But that's just a side note. That's just a side note. You're probably gonna be in these segments with me. There'll be a lot of side notes, but I hope these side notes are challenging and they get you to reflect. Give you an introduction to myself. My name is JB Stewart. Okay, I suck at introductions of myself. People like to ask me, "What do you want to do?" People like to ask me, "What are you doing?" People like to ask me these broad end questions, how your life going? I don't even know where to start in any of these questions because I feel like I'm into so much all the time, and that's a part of my nature. I'm very curious and high in openness, and I love to learn. I need a lot of mental stimulation, and I need a lot of challenges in my life in order for me to feel secure in my personhood, in order for me to feel like I'm conquering something or improving myself in some sort of way. But if I was to give you an idea as to who JB Stewart is, who is this guy doing this podcast called The More over here trying to inspire everybody for them to be more, talking about potential, talking about the dormancy gifts inside of them and all of that bull crap. I simply live to evolve my own being. Everything for me is a measure to evolve my own being. Every challenge, every reward, every loss, and lessons that come along with them, all for me only measures to evolve in my own being, which is a classic philosophical quote. What doesn't kill me makes me stronger, which turned into a classic song by Kelly Clarkson. What doesn't kill me makes me stronger. But I believe that every pressure, every disappointment has within it a polar consequence. It'd even damage you or dignify you. And throughout the course of time, you guys will get to know more about my story, my life experiences. But all I see in my life is a revolving circle of lessons redefining me and making me over and over again. The classic analogy of the snake shedding his skin. I see myself as a cycle going around, and next time he makes his lap, he comes back a bit faster. And next time he makes another lap, he comes back a bit faster. And the cycle goes on and on and on again if you don't stop and if you persevere. That's who I am. I hope that answers your question. I really do. I really do. I hope that answers your question. Let's talk about this, guys. Let's talk about why I'm here. Let's talk about why I'm adamant about doing what I do. And if you know me, let's talk about why I'm so intentional in conversation and getting to the bottom of things. I have this central belief that every human is potential. I know to a lot of people that sound crazy. I think that that's far better than us categorizing ourselves into types, as we so often become very boxy with defining humans based off of our differences. I think at the center, we are potential. I think of it kind of like a pivot point. I don't know if anybody's played basketball before, but once you pick up the ball and you're no longer allowed to dribble, you're able to pivot off of one leg. And from this one central point, you're able to go any direction. Sort of like the middle point of a wheel. You can go any direction. You can evolve, you can dismount, you can choose what path you decide to take as long as it's in range. I think that's the art of responsibility. That we're so able to respond as long as it is within range in our capabilities and limits. We can become whoever we decide to be. I seen this so much growing up in church. In church, there's this awesome thing that happens. People have these experiences. And after these experiences, like in my case, I can tell a story another time. These people act like different people. It was an amazing value shift within them. They had held on certain aspects of their personality, but a lot of things in their psyche and their behavior and their outlooks on the world had altered drastically. So they were the same person in a moment, living in a way that was in a totally different direction. The question would be, is that same person such and such? The answer would be yes. Then the other question would be, then why do they express themselves differently? And I think an answer to that would be, well, they were potential to begin with. So if we live in a world that's cause and effect, if we live in a world that maintains order, you know what I'm saying, with rules and principles, if we live in that world, that means there's sort of some logic to intelligence. And if there's some logic to intelligence, and if an idea can bring itself in flourishing through acts, is that idea separate from the manifestation? I'm going to use a terrible example, but I know it's going to catch your attention. Is Hitler imagining a fascist Germany in the beginning of his political climb separate from the Germany that he had right before his demise? Was what he visualized a different thing than what came into being? And if it's not, then it all started with a simple idea. In the same way, the beginning of something is on the same spectrum as the end of something. And if this is true, then your personhood, who you are as a person, like who you were when you was a baby, versus who you are on your last breath in this dimension. If that is the case, then there's no differentiation of the baby version of you and the old person version of you. They're the same people, which means that you're the same person when you're up, you're the same person when you're down. And if this is reality to you, then you can always have confidence in knowing that you are dynamic possibility within yourself. I could preach this all day. Like, you are potential. I can explain it to you in a million ways. Let's take, for instance, the seed. And this is where the whole concept of increased fruit comes from. My Instagram name is Increased Fruit. Yo, let's take the concept of a seed, bro. A little seed. Y'all deal with seeds all the time. Y'all had apple seeds. What other seeds y'all had? Y'all had grape seeds. You know, artificial grape thing got in no more. Y'all had seeds in school. Y'all done did y'all kindergarten project, plant seeds. That little seed already has within it the genetic capabilities to fulfill its full bloom. The genetic capabilities to come into complete flourishing if it is cultivated properly. When you was placed into mommy's womb, you came as a sperm. It was cultivated in the egg, became an embryo. But when you was that little piece of genetic material, inside of you was already all the pre-coded necessary genetic information for you to flourish into a baby who is able to sustain its own metabolic process with assistance of food and water and things that you need. From being a baby, you developed in ways that science can't calculate. That in itself is phenomenal. Then you learn language. And then you learn the billions of rules subconsciously that comprise a society. You learn how to walk, you learn how to talk, you learn how to make associations of colors, right? You learn social rules. You learn to exercise. You learn to read. You learn ideas that wasn't there before. You evolved from being a toddler to a teenager. You took up many different interests in your life. You've done all that adapting, all that evolving. And all of these things are plain and always before us. I just wonder why you lack confidence. If the seed is the same genetic material as the oak tree, who bears acorns, who then spreads itself out and covers the world and creates forests of oak trees that turn into ecosystems that fill out into continents and fill out into the whole planet Earth. If it all started with a seed, why don't you believe in the small part of you, which is a big bang explosion to come if you release yourself of your limitations? Everything that you will be is everything that you are now, and everything that you are now is everything that you have been. That's my belief. My belief is that human beings are potential. My belief is that we're endless possibilities. It's my belief that we're evolving, dynamic, and we're always discovering ourselves. And I think that a person who will side with that philosophy optimistically can understand that they decide who they should be. And with that confidence, I feel like you give yourself a better chance in life. So, man, that's all I got to say today. We're going to explore a lot of different things. This whole podcast is about tapping into that potential which is inside of you. Not only which is inside of you as some substance that exists in a piece of mass, like that exists as a little small bottle, and you need an avatar to go inside of you and open up that little small bottle, and then free little trolls inside of you to dance around and make you happy. But that who you are is potential. And it's your responsibility by working with yourself to identify that potential, define that potential, and master that potential. To create a character. To create someone that you can stamp your approval on. And you might be proud of yourself. You may be proud of the world that you live in. Peace to y'all. If y'all like this video, guys, if it touched you in any way, if it inspired you in any way, please like, subscribe, share. Thank y'all for joining.